Mark was an ordinary 17-year-old who loved exploring strange corners of the internet. Nothing harmful, just weird forums and abandoned websites. One night, he heard about a legendary hidden chat room on the dark web called the Mirror Hall, known for predicting people's secrets. Most people treated it like an urban legend, but Mark was curious. After hours of searching, connecting through slow and glitchy links, he finally entered a blank screen with a single message. "Welcome, Mark." He froze. He hadn't entered a username YET at AT. First he thought it was a coincidence. Maybe someone else had joined before with the same name. But the next line appeared before he could type. "We hope your sister is sleeping well after her fever." Mark's heart thudded. His sister had gotten sick 2 days ago. No one online knew that. He typed. "Who are you?" A pause. Then, "We are the archive. We see everything." He tried to leave the page, but his cursor stopped responding. The room kept typing. "You came here because you're curious. You shouldn't have been." Then the chatroom posted a picture. A grainy image of his house, taken from across the street. "Tonight." Hours ago, Mark yanked the power cord out of his computer. He couldn't sleep the whole night. In the morning, he checked his front porch, and there, wedged under the doormat, was a small envelope. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Curiosity has a price. Mark never touched the dark web again. But sometimes, at exactly 2:17 a.m., the same time he joined the chatroom, his phone lights up with a blank notification that asks if the archive is still watching. 2. The auction of lost voices. A well-known rumor in cyber circles tells of a dark web marketplace that sells voices, audio recordings of people saying sentences they never actually spoke. The files were creepily realistic. Many thought they were AI-generated. A college student named Leah stumbled upon the marketplace while researching online fraud for a school project. One section of the site was labeled "Voices of the Unaware." The preview files were strange. A random man saying, "I can hear you walking behind me," in a terrified voice. A woman whispering, "Please don't open the door." Leah assumed they were acting performances until she found one labeled with her hometown. When she clicked, she heard a little boy crying softly. She shouldn't have come here. She shouldn't have. The file had been uploaded 5 minutes ago. At first she thought it was a glitch. But the timestamp refreshed again, showing new uploads every few minutes. Voices of strangers, all sounding confused, desperate, like they were speaking during a stressful moment in their lives. Then she saw a new upload. Leah_room_203 to wave. Her blood went cold. That was her dorm room number. Hands shaking, she opened IT. IT wasn't acting. IT wasn't AI. IT was her own voice. Breathing hard, whispering, "Someone is standing outside my door." She slammed her laptop shut and backed away from the door. For a long moment, the corridor was silent. Then, knock, knock, knock. She didn't open it. The next morning, the dorm security cameras showed no one in the hallway, but another recording had appeared online. Leah_running_on stairs.wave, and she could hear her own footsteps. 3. The reviewer who never slept there was a strange user on many obscure dark web forums. Someone who reviewed dangerous websites the way people review restaurants. He called himself Night Owl. He rated illegal pages, creepy chat rooms, mysterious puzzle sites, and abandoned digital spaces with comments like, "Harmless, but unstable. Not recommended. Too many watchers. Enter only if you don't mind losing time." People joked he was either a hacker or someone who hadn't slept in 20 years. A curious tech blogger named Adam decided to do a story on Night Owl. He posted a simple message on a hidden board. "Night Owl, if you're real, review my website." He linked an empty domain he had created just for fun, an offline page with nothing but the word hello. The next morning, Adam found his inbox full of unread messages. Dozens of strange usernames had tried to contact him, but one stood out. Night Owl had posted a review. A single sentence. "Good structure. But you should not have invited us." Adam didn't understand until he opened his website. It wasn't empty anymore. Lines of text covered the page, repeating over and over, "We are here. We are listening. We are here. We are listening." He tried deleting the website. He tried removing the domain. He tried formatting his entire system. The text kept coming back. Finally, he returned to the dark web forum. Night Owl had left one last message. They were waiting for a door. Yours opened easily. Adam unplugged everything and stopped using computers for weeks. But late at night, he noticed something. His smart TV, disconnected from Wi-Fi, would switch on by itself, always to a blank screen, with a tiny blinking cursor in the corner, waiting for the library of missing pages. There is a hidden dark web archive known by digital myth hunters as the Library of Missing Pages. Its purpose is unknown, but the website contains documents, blurred, incomplete, torn, like someone scanned pieces of diaries, journals, and notebooks from all over the world. Some pages are harmless shopping lists. Some contain cryptic warnings. Some appear to be mid-conversation, as if cut from a notebook someone was writing in moments before something interrupted them. A high school coder named Rafik managed to access the library accidentally through a broken link. What intrigued him was a category labeled, "Pages that do not exist." Inside was a single document. When he opened it, his breath caught in his throat. It was a scanned page from his own notebook. The very notebook lying on his desk right now. On the page was a paragraph he hadn't written yet, handwriting that looked exactly like his. At 2:43 a.m., you will hear someone whisper your name from the hallway. Don't look. Don't respond. If you do, the next page will appear. Rafik snapped the notebook open. The page in question was blanked. He checked the time, 2:41 a.m. He waited, shivering. At 2:43 a.m., nothing happened. He exhaled sharply, feeling stupid for believing it. Then, a soft whisper slid through the hallway outside his door. Rafik. He froze. He didn't look. He didn't speak. He didn't move. And after several seconds, the whisper faded. The next morning, he checked the website again. A new page had appeared. This one was empty except for a single sentence. You listened. For now, he shut his laptop and deleted everything. But the blank page in his notebook, the real one, now had a faint indentation, like someone had begun writing on it overnight. 3. The thing in Tower 9. Every ranger station has one tower that nobody likes. At Ridge Hill Forest. That tower was Observation Tower 9. It wasn't haunted. It wasn't dangerous. It just felt wrong. Ranger Simon Reed was assigned to Tower 9 for his first week. He was excited. The view stretched for miles. But on the first night, at 3:12 a.m., he heard a tapping sound on the window, light, rhythmic, like fingernails. He looked outside. Nothing. He checked the stairs. Nothing. He told himself it was just branches in the wind. At 3:12 the next night, it happened again. 3 taps. Pause. 3 more. He turned off the lantern to reduce glare and pressed his forehead to the glass, scanning the darkness. Nothing. On the 4th night, he had an idea. He left his phone recording on the windowsill. The tapping returned. He let it continue. Deep down, he didn't want to look outside. When the sun rose, he checked the recording. The taps were clear, but after the 5th tap, something else whispered just barely under the sound. Let me up. Simon's chest tightened. He rewound the audio. Played it again. Tap, tap, tap. Let me up. He didn't finish his shift. He ran straight down the tower trail to the station. Chief Ranger Donovan listened to the recording. His face went pale. He stood up and locked the office door. What I'm about to tell you does not leave this room. Simon nodded. Donovan took out a folder, old, yellowed, with a torn label reading T9 incidents. Inside were reports dating back to the 1950s that each described the same phenomenon. Tapping on the glass. Always at 3:12 a.m. Always asking to come up. 1 report mentioned something more. A figure seen climbing the exterior ladder even though the hatch was locked. Another, multiple rangers refused to serve in Tower 9 afterward. The last page was a handwritten note. Whatever it is, it wants entry. Never open the hatch. That evening, Donovan reassigned Simon permanently. Tower 9 was left unmanned. 3 months later, a storm hit the forest. Lightning struck Tower 9 and burned it to the ground. When the ashes cooled, rangers found something unsettling on the dirt where the tower once stood. A perfect circle of scratches, as if something had been digging upwards, trying to reach the surface. 4. The cabin that calls for help. Ranger Natalie Dunn's jurisdiction included a remote stretch of forest with one emergency cabin. Cabin 12. Used for hikers caught in storms. Except the cabin hadn't been used in years. Boarded up. Off limits. But every few months, the station radio received the same distress call. This is cabin 12. We need help. Please hurry. Always the same voice. Always the same plea. And always late at night. The first time Natalie heard it, she and two senior rangers hiked out. Immediately, when they reached the cabin, nothing was there. No lights, no footprints, no signs of use. They radioed back, but dispatch said something chilling. We never received a follow-up signal, and your radio never transmitted. As if the call they heard had bypassed official channels. Natalie pressed her ear to the cabin door. Silence. But as she walked away, she felt a faint vibration through the ground, like someone knocking slowly beneath the floorboards. Over the next few months, the calls continued. Always identical. Always impossible. Finally, Natalie convinced the chief ranger to let her access the cabin records. She found something buried in a 1989 report. Cabin 12 collapsed during a storm. One ranger inside. Body never recovered. She swallowed. The calls weren't coming from cabin 12, they were coming as if cabin 12 still existed. One night, Natalie made a choice she knew she would regret for the rest of her life. She answered the next call. Cabin 12? This is Ranger Dunn. Are you injured? The voice replied instantly. Too instantly. Thank you. Thank you for coming back for me. Her breath caught. Who are you? A long pause. Then, you know who I am. Natalie froze. The voice sounded eerily familiar. Too familiar that it sounded exactly like her. The same tone, the same breathiness, the same tiny hitch in her voice when she was nervous. She dropped the radio. The call continued without her pressing the button. I'm still waiting in the dark. In the place you left me. Natalie stepped back. The radio hissed, then whispered, Please hurry, before you forget me again. After that night, the calls changed. Sometimes they whispered her name. Sometimes they copied things she had said earlier that day. Sentences she never transmitted over radio. The voice wasn't asking for help anymore, that it was learning her, imitating her, becoming her. Cabin 12 remains sealed today, but at least twice a month, the night shift hears the same message echo through the halls. This is Ranger Dunn at cabin 12. I need help. Please hurry. Even when Natalie is standing right beside them.